Hello, 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 everyone. Come on into the webinar. My name is Linda Peavy, and I'm going to be your host for this afternoon, where we're going to talk about how you get grants for your Black-owned business or your Black-led nonprofit. So as you come in, say hello to me. Say hello to me and give that city and that state a shout out. Let me know where you are coming in from. Oh, I'm in the land. I'm not too far from Cleveland, Ohio, where it is a frosty 24 degrees. It is freezing here. Oh, I bet it's not 24 degrees, Barbara, in Memphis. I've had some pretty good barbecue in Memphis. So, hey, Deanna, you're in Ohio. Oh, you're probably in a deep freeze. Let me know where in Ohio you are. Hey, Tiffany from Memphis and Letitia from the Bama. The Bama has shown up. And Amber from Bolingbrook. Is that right? Bolingbrook? Illinois and Saul. Oh, Saul, I bet it's not 24 degrees in Los Angeles. Hello, Brandy from St. Louis and David from Georgia. Ah, Amber's coming in by way of Chicago. It's probably cold in Chicago. It's probably cold in Chicago. Hello, everyone. My name is Linda Peavy. I'm going to be your host for this afternoon, where we're going to talk about how you get grant money. And let me tell you, it's more important now than ever before. We need to get in this game. We need to get into this grant game because you need to be able to secure funding. And this is free money we're talking about today. You need to be able to secure this free funding for your organization because we don't know what's getting ready to happen next year, right? So I want you to be ready January 1st. Hey, Donna, we're not going, Diana, we're not going there. We're not going there today, Diana. We are not going there today. Yes, it is. It's literally like literally, we're in Ohio. We're in a deep freeze. Hey, Dominique from Mississippi, Terry from Arizona. Oh, Dana has jokes this morning. Lorenzo from Georgia and Masha, is it Masha from New York? Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. My name is Linda Peavy, and I'm going to be your host for this afternoon. We're going to get started because I have a lot of information to share with you and not a lot of time, right? I know some of you on break. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to see is my just little 30-second TV commercial because it's going to give you some background information about who I am and what I do. And the first thing you're going to see is my screen here. And as I always say, we're live. So as I always say, when I hit this share screen button, it's like, oh, come through technology, come through, come through. I believe we're ready to go.
Hi, I'm Linda Peavy, owner of LaPav Consulting. My passion is to place your organization on the path to excellence. Are you struggling to communicate your message, reach target audiences, or secure funding? From marketing communications to grant writing, we achieve your goals. We've worked with high-profile clients and have secured $17 million in funding for charter schools and nonprofits. Call today to discuss what your success looks like and how LaPav Consulting can help.
Right, so that's just a little bit of information about me. Let me make sure everybody's in the right place. So this is grant writing for Black-owned businesses and then your Black-led nonprofits. And yes, we are live. We are live. So my background, yes, they call me the grants queen because I have secured over $17 million in business development and grants. And this is year 16 of me owning my company, LaPav Consulting. I provide grant writing workshops all over the country, including for organizations like Goldman Sachs, where I serve as a proud alumnus of their 10,000 Small Businesses program. And yes, my undergraduate and graduate degrees are from the University of Akron. Go Zips, go Zips. And I'm also a member of Forbes Black, which is an organization of Black leaders affiliated with Forbes magazine. Now, let me know who's here with me. Put into the chat, are you a nonprofit or are you a for-profit, meaning you're a small business, or maybe you're both? Because I'm finding that a lot of for-profits are opening up nonprofits and vice versa. So let me know in the chat. Are you a nonprofit, for-profit, or both? Let's see. Ooh, 36 degrees in Colorado. That's pretty cold. I see a lot of both. Excellent. Nonprofit, Both? A lot of boths. Excellent, excellent. I hope you're using them both, right? I hope you're using both entities to their fullest because you know they can support each other. All right, we'll talk about that a little bit later. The reason I ask you this question is so you know right from the beginning, right? There's money for both. There's money for you as a nonprofit. There's money for you as a for-profit small business, right? So we're going to talk about funding for both. So you're in the right place. There's funding now, right? We'll talk more about this a little bit later so that you can make sure you are ready January 1st to get funding that is still available. Now, how did I get here? I used to be a publishing executive in Pennsylvania, and I was there for 10 years. I got hurt. When I got hurt, I had to move back home to Cleveland to recuperate. Literally, I came home in a wheelchair because I couldn't stand. And it took me 2 years to recuperate. But at the end of those 2 years, I couldn't find a job. I couldn't find a job because my experience at the time was in professional publishing, right? And if you know anything about Cleveland, you know it is not like the Mecca of professional publishing. So that's when I started LaPav Consulting. And it's been 16 years and I never looked back. Well, one of my first contracted positions was to be this executive director of a nonprofit. Now, we're all family here today, so I can share with you that I don't think I was there 2 weeks before I was called into the board of directors office and told that I had to write a grant. I had to write a grant that would pay for my salary, thus saving my job, thus saving the organization. And you know, some of you know anyway, that oftentimes people who look like us, we are called in to do what? Save the day, save the program, sometimes save the entire organization. So if you know what I mean, give me a yes in the chat. Well, you know what? I did it. I researched. I had never seen a grant before. I had no knowledge of grants. But you know what? I did it. I researched. I wrote that grant. It paid for my job. It paid for my salary. And it allowed me to save the organization. Oh, I'm seeing some yeses. You know what I mean, right? So it is very possible to write a grant with no experience. I've been able to do it, and you can do it as well. But I also want you to think about what you can do when you get grant money, right? I know some of you must be tired of wearing all 20 hats. You can use grant money for salaries and for contracted workers, right? So we'll talk more about, what that connection is, oh my goodness, somebody said yes, and for free. Oh my goodness. So that connection, that's what we'll talk about, as well as the grants. Now, what else will we talk about? Why this class is even important. What are some keys to funding? What are some grant basics that you must know? But how do you prepare to apply for grants? And what do you write in an application? And how do you write the application so that you're getting noticed, even in a sea of applications? And then I'm going to show you how to conduct grant research so that you are finding the organizations that want to give you funding. And then don't go anywhere because I do have a list of available funds, available grants, and I also have a bonus surprise. Plus, we're going to do a Q&A. Now, people, this is your opportunity to ask a grants expert and a grant instructor questions about grants. Like, this is not the time to be shy. So drop your questions as we move along in either the Q&A or the chat. All right? All right. Now, also, let me say to all of you, I'm here to help you, right? I'm here to help you. Therefore, you're going to get a copy of this replay. You will get the replay for free. I don't believe in charging for these replays because I need for you to get this information. So it will be free to you. And there's no expiration date on it. You don't have to worry about viewing it at a certain time because I want you to be able to come back to it again and again and again for help. All right, so got that? You'll get the replay. You'll get it tonight. It will be free. You'll have it forever. All right, it is ready to go. It is ready to go. Thank you. Thank you. All right, now, why are we here? Because Black organizations, Black leaders, we need access to money. And guess what? It shouldn't always be about loans. We want grant money because grant money is free to us. But let me say this to each and every one of you. You can write grants. You can do this. Grant writing is not what it used to be. You are not sitting in some corner writing some 500-page document for 3 months at a time. No, some grant applications are 2 and 3 pages. Some are 500 words. All right. So just know you can do this, but what you must know, oh, there's a process to winning. Oh, this is about more than you just writing in some answers in a document and sending it off. There's a process. After having won $17 million, I can tell you there's a process. And that's part of what I'm going to teach you today, right? Because we don't want you to just write grants. We want you to win grants, right? Now, quickly, where's this money coming from? For small businesses, it started with COVID-19 because so many small businesses were closing. And so your corporations and your foundation said, we have to step in, we have to do something. So they started to create pools of grant money earmarked for small businesses. This is relatively new, right? Now, your community foundations, private foundations, family foundations, they're still predominantly giving to nonprofits. But the good news is that there's now money for both entities, small businesses and nonprofits. Now, how does this pertain to you and me? That was a George Floyd incident. People, it is so important that you do not believe everything you see on TV about money being taken out of DEI, right? This is critical. Just came back from this global conference that was held in Atlanta. There is money available for Black organizations, and I need for you to understand that and be encouraged, right? Regardless of what you are seeing on TV, there is money available for Black organizations, right? But you need to know how to get it. You need to know how to position yourself to get this grant funding and this other funding, right? So when the George Floyd incident happened, major corporations stepped in and said, we have to do something to address racial injustice. And guess what? It's still happening. So do not be discouraged about what you see or what they want you to think or see on TV. Oh, the money is available. It's available. So you're in the right place. Okay. Now, here are some grant basics. What do you need to know? Grants are not paid back, regardless of what you're seeing on social media. Be careful of your news, right, origins, where you're getting your news from. I see some crazy stuff on social media. Now, for the next minute, I'm only talking to nonprofits to get your 501c3. That is critical. Even if you are maybe a church or a school, you still need that 501c3. That's your tax exempt designation by the IRS as a charitable organization. And guess what? It's taking the IRS, about 8 weeks to process these applications. It used to take 6 months. So get your 501c3 nonprofits. You won't need it. It will be required because foundations are mandated by their board of directors that they can only give their money to nonprofits with this 501c3 designation. Got it? Now, from this point forward in this presentation, I'm talking to all of you. I'm talking to everybody. Nonprofits, for-profit, small businesses, everybody, especially with this next slide. Look at this slide, people. Look at this slide. And this number actually increased. This number increased in 2023 to $189 billion. But look at the amount of money we're talking about. This is grant annual funding. Look at this number. Do not be discouraged. Do not be overwhelmed. Because at the end of the day, you just need what you need. Don't look at this number and think, oh my gosh, just like that's so much money. There's just no way at all I'm going to be able to get even some of it. No, look at what you need. You just need a little bit, right? You just need a little bit of this $180 billion. So I want you all to put into the chat, I just need a little bit. I just need a little bit because you need to focus on what you need, not this huge number, right? Focus on what you need. So I mean it, everybody into the chat. I want you to write, I just need a little bit because I want you to focus on what it is that you need, right? That's what's important, right? That's what's important. Can everybody see the slides? Some people are saying that they can't see the slides. Can everybody see the slides? You may have to adjust your screen. I want to make sure everybody can see the slides. Yes, everybody can see the slides. So you may need to adjust your screen. Go to another viewing at the top right-hand corner, hit view, and then select another setting. So that's what I'm talking about, right, David? Right? Angela, Eric, you just need a little bit. You just need what you need, right? That's what I'm talking about, Barbara. Right? Do you need it all? Masha, do you need all $180 billion? Or can you just take what you need, right? That's what I want you to focus on. All right. But first, they call me the Grants Queen, and it's very chilly here. So that means I'm going to have to be giving you nice cups of tea all afternoon. And this is the first cup. It is called Grammarly. Now, people, if you use Grammarly, give yourself some love right in the chat, because this is a phenomenal software editing tool. You download it onto your computer. You use it for Word. You use it for Excel. You use it for your emails. And it's great because as you write your documents, it self-corrects, right? Now, why is this important? Because I do not want you submitting grant applications full of grammatical errors. No, doesn't matter how many letters you have behind your name. I have several. I wouldn't dream of writing without Grammarly, right? You download it, and guess what? It's free. It's free. And courtesy of our friends at Grammarly, we have this article. Improve writing skills dramatically by doing these 15 things. Download that article, everybody. Antoinette says she loves Grammarly. David uses it. Tiffany uses it, right? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. All right, all right, all right. And Angela uses it. Download Grammarly. It's free. Use it. Now, what are we doing here? We're preparing to apply for grants. You need to get your documents in order, your EIN, nonprofits, your 501c3, for-profits, especially. Are you required to have a business license to conduct business in your state? I'm in Ohio. In Ohio, you do. Some states, you don't need one. Go to your Secretary of State's website, find out whether or not you need a business license. Your Secretary of State. All right. Nonprofits, it's mandated, it's required that you have a board of directors. No, the board cannot only consist of your family and friends. No, right? I consult with nonprofits. Excuse me. That is a huge red flag. I'm not saying you can't have family and friends on your board, but there needs to be other people as well, because your board is there to keep you accountable. All right. Now, it's mandated as a nonprofit that you have a board or you have a for-profit. It's not required, but if you have a board, get your list together. Also, list any staff members, list letters of support. Let the foundation know that there are organizations that support you. Where are they coming from? It could be the mayor, the vendor that you use, community leaders, other politicians. Get those letters together. Now, if you are currently operating, you need your financial statement, and that's going to include your balance sheet and your profit and loss statement. But for all of you, even you startups, you need a current operating budget, because at the end of the day, you must know how much money it's going to take for you to operate over the course of a year, right? And oftentimes it's not as much as you think. You might be thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to need $1 million to open. But once you actually create this budget and you start estimating, you can estimate your expenses. You realize, oh my gosh, I have resources from all these places. I actually only need $50,000 in grant money. So all of you create your operating budget. All right. Now we're going to go through the typical components of a grant application and give you best practices. But the first section that you're going to see is called the summary abstract. Whatever you do, you always write it last. Right? You'll see it first, you write it last, because you're going to go through your written application and pull out the most compelling components and dump them into the summary. All right. Next, all of you should have a mission statement. This is critical. because your mission statement is going to lead you to the foundation that wants to give you money, because you need to be aligning your mission to their mission. And guess what? You're not changing your mission statement based on what foundation you want to seek. You should be seeking foundations that align to your mission statement. And it doesn't change because it defines who you are and what you do and your aims and your goals. So if you don't have a mission, that's homework 101 for you. All right. Now, history, just don't ever leave that section blank, because you're talking about what was the catalyst or impetus for you starting your organization. And if you are new, let's say you're a startup, you don't think you have a history. Yes, you do. Because now again, you're thinking about, why did I open? What were those experiences that led me to opening? Because they become a part of the history of the organization. Got it? Now, leadership, that's easy. That's your executive director, your CEO, but always include those board members, because your board of directors is very much a part of your leadership team. Now we're on to the section where you can set yourself apart from everybody else. As you describe your organization, think of one word: impact. What has been the impact of your organization on those for whom you serve? You have a homeless ministry. How many homeless people have you placed into shelters? You have an online coaching service. Maybe it's an LLC, right? You coach people in career development. How many people have you led to their future careers? You haven't opened yet. Still talk about impact. Now you're talking about what you expect to happen if that organization, right, is going to open. And you use real numbers. Let's say you have like a tutoring academy. You want to tutor middle school kids. You can say, if you haven't yet opened, I expect my impact will be that these children will raise their reading scores by 5% once they take my tutoring, right? So whether you're open or not, talk about impact and real numbers. And at the end of the day, just understand, get excited, be excited about writing grants. People, this is your opportunity to really be able to tell your story. But know that you must write it in a way in which you're addressing an issue or solving a problem. And let me tell you, there's always a problem to be solved. Now, I want to give you an example of a bakery. A bakery wants to locate downtown, needs a $20,000 grant. Now, you might be thinking, what issue is she solving, right? She's making cakes all day. Well, maybe she decided to open up a vegan bakery, because vegans don't have a lot of great places to buy baked goods, right? Or maybe it's economic development, because there's been many other failed businesses and she knows that she can make a difference. Whatever that issue is going to lead you to the foundation that wants to give you money, because they're going to be funding in the same area. So you need to find out, what is a foundation's area of interest? How do they fund? Where do they fund? Right? It's typically right on the website. Go to their website. But the problem is 90% of foundations don't have a website. That's where you have to get creative and getting information about that organization. Now, this is a section where some of you really come into several challenges. I serve as a coach for the Small Business Administration's Women's Business Council. And in 16 years, I've been working with organizations, and I ask, who are you serving? Oftentimes I help everybody. Oh, I can't turn anybody down. I help anybody that comes my way. No, 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 no. No, ma'am, no, sir. No. You all need one or two target populations. Someone, literally, I was just communicating with about 2 weeks ago, who said, no, Linda, I have a storefront. I serve everybody. It is impossible for you to help everybody. And it could be based on region. Maybe you really focus on people who are within like a 5-mile radius of your store, but you need a target population. One, maybe two of these, because foundations, do give according to target populations. All right. And like I said, this is an opportunity for you to tell your story. That's what a grant application is, right? You get a chance to showcase how you've changed lives, what type of outcomes you've achieved. And I don't think there's any better way of using video to showcase impact than on a grant application, right? If you are currently open, have your client talking to their cell phone for like 2 minutes. Put that video on the homepage of your website. And yes, the foundation is coming to your website to check you out. Yes. Yes. You haven't opened yet? Use to show the problem that you're hoping to address. Either way, video is such a powerful tool to strengthen that grant application. All right. Now, all of you have a decision to make. Are you asking for operating grant money or program project grant money? You know, we love to get operating grant money, right? Because when you get an operating grant, you know, you get to decide where to put that money towards foundations. It could even be any type of administrative cost, right? To really shore up the foundation of your organization, right? So lease, IT, marketing, right? Maybe you need a website. Really helps with your administrative costs, but only about 32% of foundations give this general operating support. Most grants have to go to a program or a project. All right. Now, you have to apply to multiple foundations. Why do you think that is? I want you all to put into the chat, why is it important to apply to multiple foundations? People, remember, this is a marathon. This is not a sprint. I often hear people say, I need a grant ASAP. I need a grant like tomorrow. This is a marathon. This is not a sprint, right? So put into the chat, why do you think it's important to apply to multiple foundations? Let me see. Barbara says, because grants are not guaranteed. Yes. David says to increase funding opportunities. Absolutely. Right. It's statistics, more chances. Sal, yes. Apply to multiple grants makes the chances better. Those are all good answers, but here's the one that I need for you to understand. Grants are not guaranteed. Grants are not guaranteed. If somebody is whispering in your ear that they can guarantee you some grant money, I want you to do one of those military turns and run in the other direction because you're about to be scammed. Literally just saw this posted on Facebook last week. $50,000 grant. Everyone wins. No, no, no. All right. When you are describing the service on the grant application or the program or project, just talk about why it's been successful. Is it new? Why will it be successful? And why is it that you are the organization to address it? Right? And what type of timeline is needed? Now, I cannot possibly overstate community partnerships. Every single one of you needs to have community partnerships, like all of you. It strengthens your grant application. And you need to know you can't do this by yourself. It is impossible. After being in business 16 years, let me tell you, you cannot do it by yourself. It is impossible. That's how you get burnt out. You can try, but that's how you get burnt out. All of you need community partners. And that doesn't mean there's an exchange of money. It depends on the nature of the relationship. Let me tell you how easy this is. Let's say you have an accounting firm. An hour out of every month, you could give a free tax talk at your local library, which is a well-respected community partner, because I want you to reach out to well-respected community partners. They're going to promote you. That's what they do, right? The library will promote you. I just took a tour of the library systems here in my county. So that brings me to reason number 2. Through them promoting you and the work that you do, it increases your level of visibility, right? And once you work with well-respected organizations, right, they can provide you as a referral or reference. Oftentimes they know where the money is in the community. They're well-respected. They've been in the community forever, right? So I want you to name 5 organizations that you're going to connect with. 5 as homework. 5. Whether it's the Urban League, HBCU, civic organizations. I want to give you a quick example of this. This is critical for you to get grant money. Let's say you have a reentry program, right? You help ex-offenders once they get out of jail, right? So that there's a low recidivism rate, right? That's the rate at which ex-offenders go back to jail. You want that rate to be low. So let's say you have a program where you train them on soft job skills or dress for success or resume writing. What do you think are some partners that they absolutely need to be working with in the community? Right? Put into the chat. What do you think some partners would be? How about the jail system? How about the warden? How about the sheriff's office? Right? Because they need to work with those ex-offenders before they are released. So how about the chaplain? How about parole boards, right, in the community? How about other organizations, social service organizations that can get them placed in jobs? You see how it was so easy to come up with what, 4 or 5, right? The unemployment office, right? Exactly. Absolutely. So that they can be able to live until they get a job, right? Right. So all of you, I want you to name 5 that you're going to connect with based on your programming. All right. Now we're on to goals. Just know that when you ask for grant money, you're going to need to talk about what do you expect to happen if you get the money. You have to write down your goals, but they have to be SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Now let's say I have a literacy program because I want to reduce the poverty rate in Cleveland. So I write down as my goal, I want to reduce the poverty rate in Cleveland. Well, that's not a SMART goal. A SMART goal would say, I want to reduce the poverty. Let's go back. I want to reduce the poverty rate by 5% in Cleveland for Hispanic children under the age of 5 within a 5-year time frame. That's a SMART goal. Everybody into the chat, what did I do there? How did I change the goal into a SMART goal? Into the chat. Into the chat, what did I do? What did I do? What did I do to change that goal into a SMART goal? I provided more details, Angela. Yes. Let's see. Target audience, I gave Tiffany. Yes. Let's see, Eric, I used numbers. I included numbers. Gave a target audience. Tiffany, Dominique, expanded my objectives. There we go. Alicia. Alicia got it. I made it measurable. I made it measurable. What did I do? I included metrics. Data and stats, 5%, Cleveland, Hispanic children, under the age of 5, 5-year time frame, things that are measurable. Anytime you want to change that goal into a SMART goal, you've got to include data and stats. All right. Now we're onto the budget. This is how you are going to spend the money, the grant money. But what you have to remember is itemize your expenses. Let's say you want to receive like a $50,000 grant for an executive director. You can't just write I need 50 grand for an ED in the application. Is it a contracted person? If so, how many hours are they working a week? How many weeks out of the year? What is the amount of the pay? Right? So keep in mind, itemize your expenses. And then the description or the explanation of how you're using the money goes into the budget narrative. But the numbers, right, go into the budget, which is usually like an Excel file. Now, I'll go through this quickly. Sustainability. Just because you get a grant in year 1 doesn't mean you're going to get a grant in year 2. And a lot of organizations were getting grants in year 1, right, expecting to get a grant in year 2, and it didn't come. And oftentimes the programs dissolve, the company goes under because they didn't get that grant. And now foundations are saying, no, that's not right. Like they don't want to shoulder the responsibility of you staying in business in year 2 by feeling like they have to give you grant money. No, you need to create a plan that will allow you to sustain the organization's sustainability beyond year 1, right? So think about a high school. We're going to do a little very quick activity. Think about a high school. They got a grant for a $20,000 tutoring program, but they had to write in that application, look, if we don't get the grant in year 2, we're going to be okay because we're going to do XYZ. Into the chat. What do you think a high school wrote on that grant application? How do you think a high school could say, yes, we're going to come up with $20,000 so that even if we don't get the grant money, we're going to be able to sustain or continue our program? What do you think they wrote into the chat, everybody? What do you think a high school could write to say, we're going to be able to come up with $20,000 to pay for this tutoring program, even if we don't get any grant money? What do you think they wrote? What do you think they could write? Right? Absolutely, Ferranda. Absolutely, the fundraisers. They can say, look, we're going to do a series of car washes, right? Absolutely Mary fundraising. Yes, crowdfunding, increased donor base. Yes. Is it IODG? IODG, right? Nicole, say you're going to use volunteers for some of the work and save you money, right? That you can spend elsewhere. So you have to be creative like the people in the chat and think about how you're going to write as to what you're going to do to be able to sustain your program beyond year one if it doesn't get a grant in year two. All right. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, Linda, this sounds good. This sounds good, but I don't have time for this. I don't have time to write these grants. Remember, I said to you at the beginning that some grants are 2 and 3 pages. That was accurate. That was accurate. So I have a question for all of you, a question I would like an answer in the chat. Do you have time to get free money? Like, do you have time to get free money? Oh, I'm saying yes. I'm saying yes, I have time to get free money. I'm saying yes, yes, yes. I'm saying I will make time to get free money. So it seems as if you've got some time from somewhere. So if you got time to get free money, I just need you to spend a little time on the process to get the free money. So what are you going to do? You're going to create some relationships. Yes, you are. You're going to send out this email so that you meet with the foundation first. Like this is the slide here. If you don't take anything else away from this webinar, this is that I want you to take a screenshot, do whatever you have to do. This is the slide, relationship building. You need to meet with the foundation first. You need to meet with them first. Yes, they want to meet with you. They're considering giving you grant money. You should want to meet with them. You're trying to get their grant money, right? But you're developing a relationship. And this is what it is here. This is it. This is so important. And you want to be in that meeting, right? You want to be in this meeting because this becomes critical. This is as important as anything you will ever write in that grant application, right? And so how are you going to do this? You're going to send an email introducing yourself. In that email, you are describing your organization. You are stating who you serve, how you serve them. You're aligning your missions. You're not asking for money. You're not asking for money. That's a very quick way to get a rejection letter. Just send an email to a foundation asking for money in the email. Quick way to get a rejection letter, right? So you're asking for a meeting, and in the meeting, you ask for the money. Now, I've been giving you tea, people. This is a teapot. This is getemail.io. This software will give you any email address of anybody around the world, and you need that access because I want you to send this letter to a real person, not some generic, but a real program director at the foundation, right? So it's by subscription. It's free for like the first 10, 15 emails, so use them wisely, right? But if you send this email to a real letter at a real organization, they will respond. Now, Foundation Directory Online, that's the leading source of information on grants in the U.S. It's time to find the money. It's time to do the grant research. FDO is $50 a month if you subscribe, where you can search this massive database for grants. Or guess what? Free access at your local library. Free. Grants.gov, that's the single source of federal grants. Are you faith-based or have a church? That's the Lilly Foundation. Now, Grant Gopher provides a lot of educational grants. I love Grant Watch. They're $20 a week. And guess what? They give you a synopsis of the actual grant. They will pull up grants for you, whereas FDO will give you the names of organizations that provide grants. So you want the actual Grant Watch. They're $20 a week or $200 for the year. And they give you a synopsis of the grant, including the contact information, name, email, address, telephone number. $20 a week, Grant Watch. Grant Station is $200 for the whole year. They do the same. They give you information about grant opportunities. And then Urban Awareness USA, they're Black owned. They're always dropping grants, probably 5 to 10 every week. Excuse me. Plus, they provide free training. So whatever you do, go to urbanawarenessusa.org and let them know Linda sent you. I love them. They have so many free resources. Now, I want to show you how you conduct this grant research. This is Grant Station, $200 for the whole year. Look to my right. You see where it says areas of interest? There's probably 10 to 15 drop-down boxes. So you really get to hone in on what are you doing? What are your services? And then your target populations, who do you serve? Veterans, homeless, African Americans, right? Foster care. What is your area of interest? Are you in the restaurant industry, religion and ethics, or youth development, or urban gardens, or IT, or STEM? Right? You put in this information and guess what? You get a list of grants based on your criteria. Now, let me just say this because a lot of you are leaving money on the table. Please start local. Start local. Connect with your local community foundations first, right? It's easier. It's easier to get local grant money, but don't disregard the national grant makers. So if let's say a foundation is headquartered in Texas, doesn't mean they're not giving money to you and you're in Connecticut. So go local and national. And don't dismiss the global grant makers from my friends, right? That come online from all across the globe. You could live in the United States and serve people in Africa and get a grant. You could live in Africa and serve people in Africa and get a grant. So this is for everybody. This is Grant Station, $200 for the whole year. Now, I said I had a list of grants for you. I do. Some of you have heard of Aunt Jemima. They changed their name to Pearl Milling Company. They have a phenomenal grant. If you serve Black women and Black girls, that's the grant. I won't go through all of these. Do you have a beauty product? Round 3 is coming up soon of the NAACP and L'Oreal grant. And let me just say to you that if you come across any of these sites and the grant has expired, please get on their email list so that you can get information about the next one when it opens. So I won't go through all of these. Main Street, do you have a brick and mortar physical location? That's a grant that opens every year. LISC, oh my goodness, they operate in 6 states. They've given away almost $8 billion since 1979. You want to connect. Do you have a Black hair care salon, or are you opening up a Black hair care salon? Shea Moisture, right? Shea Moisture. And then Mustard Seed, right? They focus on faith-based organizations. Now, you might be saying, oh, Linda, I'm teeny tiny. There's just no grant money for me. No, that's not true. You can be small. You can be a solopreneur, right? And get grant funding, right? It's about what is your impact? What is your impact? So yes, there's money for small businesses. Or you might say, Linda, look, I don't have some huge organizational chart. I don't even have paid staff. You don't need paid staff. You know what you need? Impact. Impact. All right. Now maybe you're a startup thinking, oh, there are no grants for me. I'm a startup. I've got 2 sites, Busy and Sky's the Limit. They both provide startup grants. All right. Now, I know I have a lot of women on here with me. This is a slide for you. Hello Alice. Please sign up to Hello Alice because that is a site where they provide a significant number of grants. I won't go through all of them. Cartier, the jewelry company, they have a regional program, right? Grants for women. Ember Grants for Women, they give away $30,000 every month, every month. Check their site out and see what their theme is for December. 37angels.com. Maybe you need a significant amount of money, right? They are angel investors. Then Tori Birch, she's a designer, and she has a phenomenal Women of Color program. All right. Now, I want to know in the chat, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about grants and well, actually, when you think about banks and money, let's start there. When you think about banks and money, Like, what comes to your mind? What comes to your mind? Banks and money, banks and money. Yes, Veranda, Urban Renters USA, they are awesome. People, please sign up for them. They're free. Okay, Eric says red tape and rejection, yes. Loans, yes. We're talking about banks. What comes to your mind when you think about banks? Hard to get, yes. Credit has to be on fleet, yes. Yes to all of it. But also, did you know that banks are some of the largest providers of grant money? Oh my goodness, millions upon millions of dollars. Grant money, right? We're in Northeast Ohio. We have so many banks that provide grants. One of the largest foundations in the state belongs to the bank, Key Bank. Then you got PNC Bank. You got Citizens Bank providing grants to for-profits and nonprofits. I'm going to give you 4 hot leads, right? Bank of America, largest bank in the country. They have hundreds of millions of dollars in grant endowments. Wells Fargo, so much grant money. TD Banks, they typically operate on the East Coast, but they provide pretty much just to nonprofits. And then Truist, Truist, they provide grants to for-profits and nonprofits. All right. Now, I want to just say a few words about artificial intelligence. It is phenomenal what you can do. You can write faster, you can write better, absolutely, but people, be careful. You need to use it as a tool, not a replacement. It's not coming, it's here, but you can use it to write better and faster grants, right? But what you absolutely must know going into this, you have to know how to write the basics. How to write you need the basics. You need to be able to write about the basics of your course and then feed that information into artificial intelligence. So it will rewrite and improve any written grant applications. It's great for editing and retooling. All right, so just keep that in mind, right? So here's what I have for you, because I have absolutely seen over the past few years this amazing amount of money for Black organizations that is still here, right? There's so much money, but you need to know how to write these grants. So what did I do? I created an online grant writing course, right? This is how I won $17 million, and I want you to do the same. And yes, it includes my coaching, which is absolutely critical, right? So it has become this proven step-by-step path to funding. So I can teach you how to write every part of the grant. I can teach you how to research in this course to find the right organization. But let's say you set up that meeting with one. This is where the coaching comes in, and I coach in the Facebook group, and I have a live group coaching session. So let's say you've set up the meeting. You come into me and you ask me, Linda, I've set it up. What do I do? This is what I do. This is who they are. I can tell you what to say, how to say it, what the keywords are that they're looking for, right? The buzzwords, right? What do you bring? What do you show? What do you focus on? The course will teach you how to write a grant narrative, including a budget. But how do you know whether or not to apply for operating funds or program project money, right? That's where my coaching comes in. All right. You get 12 modules, 35 lessons, a video in front of every lesson. Keep in mind, this is year 16 for me. I've seen a lot of grant applications, and I've been hired to build grant applications, to literally write them from scratch. So I know what kinds of questions are asked. I've taken those questions and I've built the course around them, so that this is where you answer the questions, right? So you answer the questions here, you get a good answer, right? And then you utilize that information, because by the time you're done, you have this beautiful grant template. So you're using that information in a supportive environment where you can take your time, because this is self-paced, and then you're ready. You're ready. Or you can take these responses and dump them into AI, right? But you got to have the foundation first. You have to know what to feed AI, right? And yes, you get real examples, and every example I wrote, in every example won money. All right. And then this is literally not up to date, because we, believe it or not, We just added over 150. I have a list of over 600 funders, 600 organizations that provide entrepreneurial grants, grants for nonprofits, grants for for-profits, every industry you can imagine, you get with the course. When I tell you you're ready to write grants when you're done with this course, oh, you are ready to write grants. And I do something else that nobody else is doing on this level, besides giving you 600 names of organizations. I have a private Facebook group that as the young kids say, the Facebook group is lit because there are students in this course. You come into the Facebook group and you ask me questions, right? But there is so much collaboration. This is about competition, no competition, collaboration, to the point where 3 weeks ago, they created 8 new chats just within the Facebook group so that they could work with it, so that the students could work with each other. This is the support that we need, right? This is a community that I provide for you. And just to help you out, because I'm here to help you, you get an hour of group coaching every month. And let me tell you, that next group coaching is Monday, the last one of the year. And you do not want to miss that coaching session. It's live with me. I'm going to tell you what's coming up for 2025 so that you can be ready. All right. Now, this is not what you're paying, but this is important because this is what the course is worth. I've had my course audited 3 times. The modules are worth $3,549. The videos are worth $599. The funding list is worth over $500. And yes, you have workbooks, planners, grant trackers, because you have to stay organized. This is the slide, right, that you want to see. And these numbers, for some reason, we didn't input the right code. You'll get the right codes in a second, right? But this is what I want you to see in terms of the amount, right? The course is valued at $5,000. And I don't believe in just like plucking numbers out of the sky. It's valued at $5,000. The university grant writing courses, by the way, are $5,000. And you certainly don't get access to the professor. And you may get the materials after 2 or 3 months, maybe. So my regular price is $997. I keep it at $497 because I am always trying to keep it affordable. But guess what? You hopped on the webinar. So you know what? You get to take an additional 50% off. So these numbers are correct. You're not paying $497. You're paying $247. One payment, one and done for everything I just talked about. The entire course, the Facebook group, the live group coaching sessions with me. $247. The code is being dropped into the chat, so you'll have the right code. The code is in the chat because we want to give you the updated code. Now, if you want to make 2 payments and you need more help, you got it. You can make 2 payments. You pay $137.50 now and $137.50 a month from now. And you put a 2 on the end of the code, right? So that we know you want to make the 2 months payments. And you read right at the bottom, that's correct. The course never expires. It never expires. So this is everything you get here. And these are the right codes here. I didn't even talk about the letter of inquiry because it has become a gatekeeper. Yes. So foundations are asking you to complete an LOI before they even invite you to the grant application. So we have an entire lesson on it, and an example of how it looks, including every part of that grant application. And yes, everything's self-paced. Yes, you get the Facebook group. This is the amount, $247. The code is DEC13N. And you take that code and it will give you that additional discount instead of $497, which is what everybody else is paying for. You actually have a huge coupon, or you can make the 2 months or the 2-month payment. You can do that as well. The code and the link is in the chat. So this is what you do for the $247. Doesn't that just sound insane with everything that you're getting? You press the link into the chat. You see this page here. You press the $497. You will come to this page. Everybody look over here to the left. You have a coupon code, and you have a big coupon code. You put in the coupon code, right? DEC13N. It will take off 50%. Now you're only paying $247. Look at this block here. I want everybody to look at this section here. This is a private session with me. If you desire to sit down with me one-on-one, it's a private VIP session. And guess what? Oh, I get you together. I do a deep dive into your organization because before you and I talk about grants, I'm looking at your mission, vision, infrastructure, target population, and your programming or your services or your projects so that you leave with complete clarity. You get the session notes and the video. It's normally $495. The only time you'll see it reduced to $195 is if you buy it with the course. You can buy it with the course. All right. And just so you know, we're doing something special for people that want to pay the one payment of $247. You can spread that out over 6 months. 6 months, same as cash, no interest. Yes. You're literally spreading the $247 out over 6 months, no interest, Affirm, Afterpay, or Klarna. You can choose either one. All right. So we're literally trying to help you so that you're in the best possible position to get this funding. And if you want to make the 2 payments, you can. Now, this is a 2-payment plan here, 2 times 275, right? You click that. You will see this page here, but input your coupon, right? Because $275 a month for 2 months is what everybody else is paying. You're going to input your coupon. It's going to take it down to $137.50. And guess what? I don't drip my course. So even if you only pay $137.50, you get everything right away. The entire course, the Facebook group, the group coaching call next Monday. And then you have to pay the other $137.50 in 30 days. And yes, you can still add on the $195. But everybody look at this slide here. This is Whitney. Whitney never thought she would get any grant money, but she did exactly what I'm asking you to do. She started local. She got $40,000 from the Southern Power Fund. Then she went national. She got $50,000 from the National Birth Equity Collaborative. Whitney told me last year she got over $200,000 in grant funding. Somebody didn't think they were getting any grants. Now she says, I can be a salaried employee of my business, right? Isn't that what you want, right? And for the LLCs, right? The for-profits, this is Tranquility Point Therapeutic Massage. It's a massage company, got a $20,000 grant. We both wanted to share our wonderful, fabulous news. Our small business was awarded a $20,000 grant. We are so very thankful and grateful for your course. It's been life-changing for our business. Life-changing. Like you can do this. Look at Christina. She's an educator. May I share that I am so grateful for Linda. I would not have had the confidence to follow through on applying for grants if it wasn't for her grant writing course. The depth of information provided is unmatched. And she won her very first grant. So people, yes, it is possible. If you've never received a grant before, to get a grant. Remember I said there are grants for churches and faith-based organizations? Reverend Chris is over $35,000 in grant funding. Natalie became so proficient at writing grants after she took my course, she became a professional grant writer. She secured a $50,000 grant for a church. Tabitha won the Emerging Leaders Fellowship Program. April won $9,000 in a pitch competition. She said, Linda, you taught me how to tell my story. I'm ready to go. Beat out 100 competitors. Cornisha got that elusive Walmart grant. She bought the one-on-one. She said, thanks, Linda Peavy, because that one-on-one session we had is getting my organization funded. Kimberly, 4 sponsorships in less than 2 months. Ask me the difference between a grant and a sponsorship when we get to the Q&A. We're at the Q&A. We are done. It's Q&A time. It's Q&A time. It's Q&A time, people. Before we get to the Q&A, before you leave, I want you to do one thing, and I want you to do it for you. Everything is online. This is an online course. Everything is digital. Everything is online that you can download. I see some questions, so great. I'm going to answer them all. The one-on-one, remember I said the course doesn't expire? The one-on-one doesn't expire. And you decide when you want the one-on-one. But before we do anything else, I've got to ask you to do this for you, not me, for you. I want everybody into this chat right now to write, I am ready to get grant money. I am ready to get grant money. People know me know I'm a sports fanatic. It's fourth quarter. It's fourth quarter. It's December 13th. You cannot wait any longer. January 1st is coming, right? And some of you have been waiting for a long, long time. Maybe you've been confused. You don't know where the grant money is. You heard there was some grant money somewhere. You didn't know where it was. You didn't know how to get it, right? I know you're tired of using your own money, right? You're tired of wearing all the hats. You're tired of not knowing where to go for the grant money. You're a small business, maybe didn't know that there was grant money for you. Yes, there is, right? And now you have a chance to be in a community so that you're in a safe space. Because let me tell you, the scammers are out there. I hear horror stories every day now about people being scammed. I provided a community for you to be in a safe space so that you can get this done, right? Time is up. Time is up. And let me just say this to all of you. When January comes, you're going to need to be in a position where you can fund your organization from diverse sources. And we keep hearing about the government being depleted of resources and cuts to this and cuts to that program. Do you know that a lot of this money comes from the government? Some of it is filtered down through the state, through the county, through the city. Now is the time to get your organization in a position where you can get this grant money while it's available, right? The great news is that these foundations, these budgets have been set at least for the initial part of 2025, but please be ready, people. Who is ready to get this grant money? Let me see who is ready to get this grant money. I'm in Ohio, Northeast Ohio, just outside of the land. All right, let's see. All right, who is ready? Who is ready? The link to the course is in the chat. Please look into the chat. The link to the course is in the chat. The one-on-one does not expire. No. Is this Dominique? Dominique says, yes, I'm ready to get this grant money. Deona and David and Nicole and Mary, that's what I'm talking about, and Amber and Brandy. I'm ready to get this money. Like, write this, get this out of your system. I believe in manifestation. Write this down, write it down, get it out of your system. Ade, Joy, DeAndre, I'm ready to get this money. This is Lorenzo. Yes, I get this out, write this down. It's go time, people. It's go time. It's December 13th. It's go time. It's go time. The one-on-one is $195, right? Send me an email. If you didn't get the $1 million grant roadmap, send me an email, right? And we'll make sure you get that. Melissa, could you put my email address into the chat? Some of you bought the $1 million grant roadmap, which is phenomenal. $5, right? It doesn't matter if you buy this course or not. You need that little grant roadmap because you should always be on one of those 10 steps. When you are writing a grant, you should always be on one of those 10 steps, right? I think it's like a $99 value. It's like $5. You should always be on one of those 10 steps, right? $5. I try to make sure that there is a resource for anybody, right, that wants it. That's why the course is so cheap. I certainly have resources and services that are probably, I don't know, 80 times this amount. This I'm doing for you because I know this can help you. I know this can help you, right? I know this can help you, but you've got to be ready to do this. And do it with help. Come into the Facebook group, ask me questions. I'm in there all the time, right? But I'm not the only one in there. I have professional grant writers. I have people with doctorates in English and education. I have people who won so much money in grants. Come into the Facebook group and be helped, right? But it's also a safe space. It's a safe space, right? Young lady, she was a student, came into the Facebook group. She wanted to hire a grant writer. Somebody told her that if she gave them $250, They would write all these grants for her. And then something happened and it didn't happen. And she came into the group and she said, Linda, something doesn't feel right. I might have been scammed. I didn't even get to the post first. The students converged on the post and said, let us research this company for you. And they did. And of course, the organization, they were scammers, but that is the community that I have. All right, we're going to start with questions. There's not a single question in the Q&A. I'm going over to the webinar chat and I'm going up. The Facebook link is grant writing for non-writers, but you have to be a student to be in the Facebook group. So those of you who are buying the course, you're going to get 3 emails: a welcome email, an email with your username and password that you create so that you get started. You're not waiting on me. And then that link to the Facebook group, and all you want to be in the Facebook group. There are grants in there right now that are due at the end of the year. You want to know where there are grants? The Facebook group. There are so many grants in the Facebook group, but come for help. And if you start writing and you want another set of eyes, come into the Facebook group on a volunteer basis and ask for someone to maybe put another set of eyes on your work, because there are many, many students in there. If I'm in there, I'll skim it for you. And I'm in there quite a bit, actually. I always kid, you'll be sick of seeing this face in the Facebook group, right? I'm going over to the webinar chat, and it's tax deductible. The process is the same for for-profit grants, nonprofit grants. It doesn't matter. It's all according to what? The directions in the grant application. But the process is the same. You always want to meet, if at all possible, meet with the foundation or the organization providing the grant, whether you are a small business or a nonprofit. All right, let me start at the top. I'm going to come down and just address some of these questions. Let's see the amount. Someone wants the amount needed to serve the community. In what way? You have to be specific. You have to be very specific. The more specific you are in the work that you do, the easier it will be for you to get grant money. You have to be specific. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, let's see. Questions. And did you know that some organizations are being sued because they're trying to get you money? Yeah, some organizations are being sued trying to get you money, and I'm trying to get you in a position so that you can get this money. Fearless Fund, Hello Alice, Progressive, and others have been sued because they want to give Black organizations funding. The good news is that they are pushing back, and there are so many other organizations that you don't know about that is absolutely committed to getting grant funding and other kinds of funding to Black organizations that you probably won't hear about on the news, but it's real, and they're there. I was in a room with many of them just literally a few days ago. All right. Someone says I can write I can write 2 to 3 pages, not 200, and that is good. That is good because the 200-page grant application is over with, right? Because foundations don't have the personnel to read through a 200-page document anymore. That's why you're seeing grant applications that are 2 and 3 pages, right? Because foundations don't have that personnel. These major corporations with foundations, they don't have the personnel to sit there and read a 200-page application and you've got 1,000 applications. No. That's why. That's one of the reasons why it's quick. A lot of them are so quick. Let's see. All right. Let's see other questions, and then we're going to wrap it up. The one-on-one is $195. Send me an email to get the map. Yes, you really do. I believe in manifestation. I believe in writing down what you want, right, to get this out of your system. You get one-on-one, one meeting for $195. One meeting. Let's see. The Facebook link is Grant Writing for Non-Writers. That is the Facebook group. Be careful because there's 2. My email is being placed into the chat. David, send me an email. There may be a glitch in I'm not sure what browser you're using. A send me an email and I'll send you a link directly to get that Prepare to Win Grant Success Kit. My email is being placed into the chat. Would it be best to seek startup building funds before program and initiative funds? So it sounds like you haven't started. So yes, you can seek your startup funding, right? Because you need to have you need to have an organization before you have a program, right? So seek money to get your organization up and running, right? But so for example, as a part of your startup grant application, you could also seek money to get the program up and running as long as you have the staff who can do it, right? Because let's say you get that program grant before you get a startup grant. That's why it's important to have the staff available who can implement your program. But keep in mind, you can hire yourself or someone else to run and operate the program, right? So the program money, let's say you need someone to operate your program. That's not necessarily the person that owns the organization. So don't be afraid when you are seeking grant funding to help support your program. Don't be afraid to include money for a contractor who can run that program. And that can be you. Or it can be someone else, maybe with that level of expertise. All right. Can I apply to the same grant for both my LLC and nonprofit? If you're providing the funding, if you're providing not the funding, but if you're providing the program, right? If you're providing the services required, because some grants, it will say in the grant that you can be a nonprofit or for profit and apply for the grant. Depends on the grant, right? But if both of your for-profits and nonprofits are providing the service or even a piece of the service. Let me give you an example. Let's say this is off the top of my head. Let's say there's a grant that will support after school programming for organizations to tutor kids in math. Let's say that's what the grant is. Now in Ohio, you can't have any after school programs without feeding the kids, without feeding the students, right? Let's say your nonprofit, because that's what your nonprofit does, it provides educational training in the area of STEM. And you apply for that grant because your program is based on teaching kids after school. And you have the credentials, right, to be able to tutor those kids. But you also know that you have to be able to feed those kids, bring in some type of snacks and your for-profit is a vending company. Your for-profit provides food. You can literally write into the grant application your for-profit, right? But whether it's your LLC or your nonprofit, you have to be serving and addressing and fulfilling the needs and the requirements of the grant. But that is a way in which, unless you both provide identical resources, which means, yes, you can, they'll say that the for-profit also has a tutoring program and the nonprofit also has a tutoring program. Yes, you can both apply. But if you're providing separate programs, that's the way in which you can both support the grant application. Hope that makes sense. All right, let's see. It's an hour long. The one-on-one session is an hour. Will the chat text and links be available with the video? Absolutely. I always put the chat text and links into the replay so that you have that information because that's important. All right. I believe we are done. People, just know you've got 3 days. You have 3 days. and it's tax deductible, you write it off. Yes, you write it off. You can completely write the course off. So if you are a for-profit, yes, you can get a $5,000 grant writing course for $247 that you're going to write off tax deductible because it is a business educational expense. And if you're a nonprofit, you're not paying taxes, but you list this course as an expense, right? You got 3 days to get the additional 50% off. And what I can tell you right now is that the course will not be as low as $247 next month. Like this is it. Like this is like super, super low. And I can't continue to offer it at $247. So it won't be $247 next month, right? So this is your opportunity. I hope to see you in the grant writing course. I hope to see you in the Facebook group over the course of the next 3 days. Do this for you. If you want to take advantage of the 6 months same as cash, you can do that, right? And because someone's asking, I'm going to do this live. All right, because someone's asking about the payment. So let me do this live so that you see what happens. When you hit the link, I'm going to share my screen. You're going to see right here this page. Let's say you just want to make the one payment $247, right? You hit that link. You have a coupon that says DEC13N. You include it, you apply it, there you go. It took off $250. So now you're only paying $247. You want to buy the one-on-one private session with me, hit the block. It will add it on. Now we're at $442. Whether you're at $442 or the $247, you can take off the coaching. It's all up to you. You continue on. Let me just put in an email, just like any kind of email. You put in your email, this is what you're going to get. This is where you go to the buy now, pay later. Hit pay another way, right? You can input your credit card, right? You can pay with your credit card, but hit new payment method. This is where you can pay with your bank. You can pay with a credit card, Affirm. You can pay with Cash App, right? There's Klarna and Afterpay, right? Remember, those are the three: Affirm, Afterpay, and Klarna. 6 months, same as cash. Or you can go with Google Pay. Many, many, many different ways. You want the 2-month payment, right? You hit purchase now. Remember, you got a coupon. Input your coupon, DEC13N. Put that number 2 behind it. Now you're only paying $137.50. And then you keep going. All right. So hopefully that answered the person's question. All right. So that will be the link. So when you put in the link, right? When you put in the link, that is what you will get, right? There's only one link that we're giving you. And when you input that link, right? Here, let me give you the link. Let's see here. I'm going to literally put in the link. I'm going to share my screen again. That link takes you to this page here. It's the only link in the chat. It will take you to this page here, right? So this is the 1 payment plan, $497. This is a 2 payment plan, 2 times $275. So that's the only link that's in the chat. And this is where it will take you, depending upon how you want to pay. 1 payment, hit the $497. It'll take you to this page here, and you input your coupon and you keep going. You want the 2 payment plan, hit 2 times $275. It will take you to this page here and put that coupon, keep going. All right. All right. I think that answered the questions. All right. All right. All right. The coupon is in the chat. The coupon is in the chat. All right. So the coupon code is in the chat. If you look in the chat, there are the coupon codes. Here, let me put it in here again. Let me make sure. All right. So 1 payment, DEC13N, 2 payments, putting the codes for you, DEC 1, 3, and 2. All right, so everybody should have the codes, and then the link is in the chat. Someone asked another question. I just wanted to piggyback on what you mentioned. I'm a licensed massage therapist and I own my own LLC. Applied to 2 grants and looking for more. I'm very good at writing. However, I use AI to bolster my completed answers based on the questions asked, which is exactly what I'm teaching. You did exactly what I'm sharing with everybody else, right? You provided your answers to questions, and then you input those answers into AI to see if they could give you something that was a little bit easier or smoother, but you were able to write the questions. And that's where people get into challenges, right? They don't know how to answer the grant questions. And that's what this course is about, is teaching you how to answer those questions, right? You get the basics. And again, some people become so good at grant writing, they start writing for other organizations, right? Like the young lady did. All right. So I believe that is it. I want to make sure that link is working for everybody. Yes, I'm seeing that it is, because some of the purchases are coming through. So it looks like it is working for everybody. All right. Any other questions? Let me just make sure. Let me go back and make sure I didn't. Would that be considered a startup grant or building capacity grant? So it can be, so those are interchangeable, right? A startup grant, a capacity grant. Startup grant means oftentimes like beginning to 3 years. You could be a startup and still be 2 years old. So typically foundations view startups as either typically the 0 to 3 year mark, right? But building capacity is the same. In those first 3 years, you are building capacity. Some organizations haven't even started and they're looking for grants to even get them started. But even after you started, right, you're still considered a startup, even if you're in the first 3 years. And yes, you're going to be building capacity. So those terms can sometimes be interchangeable if you're already open. So if you're already open and you're new, you can search for startup grants or capacity building grants, but they serve the same purpose, meaning that the expenses that you are going to be presenting in the grant application that you need money to pay for are your administrative costs, right? Your costs, it could be for your lease, it could be to hire staff, it could be to create a website, your administrative cost, right? A lot of that goes into what's called building capacity so that you have a staff and an infrastructure to start implementing your programs. Okay. Looking to make a mobile initiative an actual brick and mortar. Depends. So that's a great comment. There are 3 areas where you all should be seeking grants, and this is going to help all of you. One is based on your mission. So align your mission to the mission of your foundation. Make sure your mission is aligned to the mission of that foundation. Second is your ethnicity or your gender. Because you're a Black-owned organization or a woman-owned organization, there are grants earmarked for you. The third is your industry. Look to your industry, right? So that's why it's important to know and to write about your industry. Deandra, make a mobile initiative, an actual brick and mortar, but what is the industry? Because that will also help you decide where to look. Let's say you have a mobile truck, a food truck, and you want to create a brick and mortar restaurant, right? So that's very specific. So now you need to be searching for grants in the food and beverage industry or the restaurant industry. And I think there's 2 right now on Hello Alice, right? So that's why it's so important to always state your industry, because that is one area where you should be searching for grants and go to your industry leaders, right? Let's say you want to open up that brick and mortar restaurant. Did you know that organizations like Hennessy, right? They have grants, right? They're a liquor company. They have grants. You want to open up a nail salon? Go to Shea Moisture. They make shampoo and conditioners. Go to Opie. They make nail polish. Find out whether or not they have grants. We know Shea Moisture has grants, right? This is what all of you can do. This is what all of you can do. Look to your industry for grants, right? This is going to be so important as you go into January. It's something my coach always tells me. He's like, Linda, we're the ones we've been waiting for. We're the ones we've been waiting for. You're the one that you've been waiting for. Because you have to take responsibility into your own hands and say, you know what, I need to do this. I need to get this funded, right? But what you all need to know is that there are people waiting on you, waiting on your skills and your talents, right? And I know you get tired of using your own money. I know you get tired of wearing all the hats because you don't have any help. None of you should be solopreneurs. None of you, right? This is year 16 for me being in business. I can tell you, none of you should be solopreneurs. There's too much help available. You cannot do this alone. You need an intern. Go to your local community college. A lot of those students don't want money. They want experience, right? Get the help that you need so that you can move forward. And whatever you do, move forward. Time is out for us sitting on the sidelines now more so than ever before. Be ready January 1st, right? To be in a space where you can research, write, and win grants in a safe space. So if you have questions and you need help, you have it. All right. All right. So I believe we are done. Let me just make sure I didn't miss any other questions. Let me just make sure. Yes, you do write it off. It's tax deductible. Melissa, could you drop my email address in the chat again? It's important to put the email on your contact list so that when you get the replay, it doesn't go to spam. You're going to get the replay tonight and over the course of the next 3 days with the link, with the code, so that you have the opportunity to get the course. And yes, you can write it off. It's tax deductible. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. All right. I believe we are done. There you go. In 2025, I will have more partnerships just speaking into existence. If you buy the course, I have templates for you. I have templates. Remember I said how important it is to write that email to meet with the foundation? I have a template for you in the course. All you have to do is just plug in your information. Remember I said how important it is to meet with partners? I have a template. I have an email template in the course. You just complete your information so that you can start connecting with partners. The actual grant application, I have a template in the course. So as you're answering questions in the course, you can answer those questions in a Word format. And once you get into the course, this is why it is so important to be in a surrounding where people can help you. When you get into the course, there's something called discussion starters. If you get stuck on a question, start a discussion starter, ask the question. They come directly to me and I answer them. All right? Trying to make sure you get the help you need so that you can get this money that's available now. We know it's available now, right? But you've got to place yourself in a position to get it. All right. All right. Let's see. Looking to obtain a place to actually house these veterans to help them on deeper capacity. So you're looking for transitional housing. So the veteran space is one of my specialty areas because I've worked for about 8 years with organizations that serve veterans, with veterans organizations. So you're looking for transitional housing, right? When veterans come back, oftentimes they have PTSD. So they're not necessarily even ready or able to go back to their communities, to go back to their homes. Some of them need additional counseling. Some of them need transitional housing because they find themselves to be homeless, right? There's federal grant money for that, state grant money. There are so many foundations that provide grant money to organizations that help veterans. So that's a really good space to be in because the money is plentiful and it's available. All right. I believe we're up. I was going to say we're done. Okay. Email address is provided. Now we're done. All right. I want to thank you all so much. Let me say this. You know, it's always important to stay until the end. I created an AI intro guide, right? $99. We'll introduce you to artificial intelligence because it's not that it's coming, it's here. It's here. The guide will teach you the basics of AI and how you use it when you're writing a grant and how you take the basic information that you're going to learn in this course. If you want to level up, go to AI, it can help you. It's $99. You're going to get it free. This is my holiday gift, free to you if you buy the course over the next 3 days, right? You will get it free. You will literally get that training for free, right? If you buy the course over the next 3 days. So not only will you get the 50% discount, you can get started with AI. I want you to be ready in January because it's go time, people. All right. I want to thank you all for hopping on. My name is Linda Peavy, creator of the course Grant Writing for Non-Writers, Keys to Winning Grant Proposals. And I hope you move forward. Don't let this be another webinar that you hop on and you don't do anything with the information because there's too much money available and there's still so much money available to you as a Black organization. All right. So be encouraged, but know what to do, know how to do it, and know where to find the funds. And that's what we want to help you with. So thank you so much. And just keep moving over the course of this holiday season. I want you to have a safe and a prosperous and a blessed holiday season and be encouraged. There's money available. Place yourself in a position to get it. All right. I want to thank you all. My name is Linda Peavy, and I hope to be able to see you over the course of the next 3 days in the Facebook group, right? Because that's where I'll be hanging out. All right. Thank you so much. I wish you a safe holiday season and a blessed holiday season. And keep in mind, there are people waiting on you to manifest what's been in you for a long time because it's time. It's time, people. All right. Thank you so much. God bless you. Bye-bye.